What is up, you guys? Today we are diving into something absolutely insane. We're looking at the most disturbing encounters ever caught on camera inside abandoned buildings. I'm talking about places that have been left to rot for decades, places with dark histories and even darker secrets. We've spent literally hundreds of hours scouring the internet, watching terrifying footage, and I've handpicked the 6 absolute craziest, most unexplainable clips for you today. These aren't just spooky stories. This is real footage that will make the hair on your arms stand up. I'm not even kidding, some of this stuff is so crazy it gave my entire team nightmares. We're going to be exploring everything from old, creepy hospitals to forgotten asylums where things just don't make any sense. These urban explorers went in looking for adventure, but what they found was something else entirely. They captured moments that defy all logic, moments that will make you question what's really out there in the dark. I promise you, you've never seen anything like this before. So lock your doors, turn off the lights, and get ready, because this is going to be an insane ride. You absolutely have to watch until the end, because the last clip we're going to show you is, without a doubt, the single creepiest encounter I have ever seen in my entire life. It's so terrifying we almost didn't include it. You do not want to miss it. Let's get right into it. All right, kicking things off at number 6, we have a clip that will send shivers down your spine. A team of urban explorers, let's call them the Nightfall Crew, decided to investigate the abandoned St. Jude's Hospital, a place that's been closed for over 30 years. The building is massive, a maze of decaying corridors and patient rooms still filled with rusty medical equipment. As they're making their way through the surgical ward, you can feel the heavy, oppressive atmosphere through the camera. It's dead silent, except for the sound of their footsteps crunching on debris. They're using high-powered flashlights, but the darkness in this place just seems to swallow the light. As they pan their camera down a long, dark hallway, they're just talking, doing their thing. But then, for a split second, the main camera operator freezes. He asks his friend, "Did you see that?" At the very end of the hall, partially hidden by a doorway, you can just make out a tall, slender shape. It's completely black, like a void in the darkness, and it's just standing there. It's not a trick of the light or a shadow from their flashlights. It's a distinct humanoid figure. The tension just skyrockets. They start whispering, trying to figure out what they're looking at. Is it another explorer, a squatter? They call out, but there's no response. The figure remains perfectly still, as if it's watching them. They take a few hesitant steps forward, their flashlights fixed on the spot, and then, in the blink of an eye, the figure just vanishes. It doesn't run or walk away. It just disappears into the doorway as if it was never there. They rush to the end of the hall but find nothing but an empty room. The footage is absolutely bone-chilling. Coming in at number 5 is an experience that's less about what you see and more about what you hear. This clip comes from a lone YouTuber exploring the abandoned Northwood Elementary School, a place that has been empty since a fire shut it down in the 1980s. The entire building is eerie, with children's drawings still pinned to the bulletin boards, and old textbooks scattered across the floors. The explorer is doing a great job of capturing the sad, forgotten atmosphere of the place, walking through classrooms and the gymnasium. The only sounds are the creaking floorboards and the wind howling outside. He enters the old school library, and this is where things get really weird. He sets his camera down on a bookshelf to get a wide shot of the room while he looks around. As he's walking around in the background, you start to hear it, faintly at first, but it's unmistakable. It sounds like children whispering. It's not the wind, it's a distinct, hushed chatter. The explorer doesn't seem to notice it at first. He's too far away from the camera's microphone. But for us watching, it's crystal clear and incredibly unsettling. The whispering continues for almost a full minute, and it seems to get a little louder, a little closer. You can't make out any specific words, it just sounds like the spectral echoes of children in a library. Then, you hear one voice, a little girl's. Say something clearly. He's here. The explorer instantly freezes. He heard that one. He whips his head around, looking directly at the camera. He asks, "Who's there?" The whispering stops immediately. The silence that follows is terrifying. He grabs his camera and gets out of there, and honestly, I would have done the exact same thing. Okay, get ready, because our number 4 spot takes us to one of the most classic horror settings imaginable, an abandoned asylum. The Penhurst Asylum has a notoriously dark history, and this footage shows exactly why people are so terrified of it. A group of paranormal investigators set up multiple static cameras throughout one of the most active wards, hoping to capture some evidence. For hours, nothing happens. It's just silent, grainy footage of empty, decaying rooms. But then, in the middle of the night, one of the cameras captures something that is impossible to explain. The camera is pointed down a long corridor with several empty rooms on either side. In the foreground, there's an old, rusty wheelchair, the kind you see in horror movies. It's been sitting in that exact spot, completely motionless for hours. Suddenly, with no one around and no wind or vibrations, the wheelchair's left wheel begins to turn, slowly at first, then a little faster. It's not just a slight movement, it's a deliberate, sustained rotation. It's as if an invisible person is sitting in the chair, fidgeting with the wheel. It's one of the most unnerving things I've ever seen. The investigators watching the live feed are flipping out. You can hear their shocked reactions from the command center. They're trying to debunk it, looking for wires or any logical explanation, but there is none. The wheel continues to turn for about 30 seconds, and then, just as suddenly as it started, it stops. A few moments later, the entire wheelchair lurches forward a few inches, as if someone tried to push it but didn't have the strength. There's no logical reason for this to happen. It's just raw, terrifying footage of an object moving on its own in a place known for suffering and despair. This next one, our number 3, is pure nightmare fuel because it involves the explorers getting trapped. So a couple of YouTubers were exploring a massive abandoned ironworks factory at night. This place is just a labyrinth of rusted metal, catwalks, and heavy machinery everywhere you look. They're deep inside the complex, in a section they had to squeeze through a broken window to access. After about an hour of exploring, they decide it's time to head back the way they came. But as they approach the room with the broken window, they're faced with a terrifying problem. The room is sealed off by a massive, heavy, industrial steel door. A door they are absolutely positive was wide open when they first came through. They even have footage from earlier showing it propped open with a chunk of concrete. Now it's shut tight. These doors are incredibly heavy. It would take a massive amount of force to close one. They immediately panic, thinking someone else is in the factory with them and has locked them in. They start pushing and pulling on the door, but it won't budge. You can hear the desperation in their voices as they realize they are trapped deep inside this decaying metal tomb. They decide to review their footage right then and there to see if they missed something, and what they find is honestly horrifying. On their way out, the camera was pointed behind them for a moment, and it captured the hallway they just left. In the footage, you see the empty hallway, and then, with incredible force, the massive steel door slams shut on its own. There's no one there. It just closes with a deafening bang. It's not a gentle swing, it's a violent slam. Seeing that footage, knowing there was no one there, is 1,000 times scarier than thinking a person trapped them. They were eventually able to find another way out, but that moment of pure terror is something you just can't fake. We are now at our number 2 spot, and this one is a straight-up, full-body apparition. It's the kind of evidence paranormal investigators dream of capturing. This footage was filmed inside the abandoned Blackwood Manor, a 19th century mansion rumored to be haunted by its former owner, a woman who tragically lost her life within its walls. The explorer is carefully making his way up the grand sweeping staircase, which is covered in dust and cobwebs. The whole place looks like it's been frozen in time, beautiful, but incredibly creepy. He reaches the top of the stairs and pans his camera across the upper landing. The landing is long, with several closed doors leading to bedrooms. As he slowly pans from left to right, everything seems normal. It's just an empty, dusty hallway. But when he pans back from right to left for just a few frames, something is there that wasn't there before. Standing at the far end of the hall, directly in front of a large window, is the translucent figure of a woman in what looks like a long, old-fashioned dress. You can see right through her to the window behind her. The explorer doesn't even see it in the moment. It's only later, during editing, that he discovers what he captured. We're gonna slow it down and zoom in for you. The apparition is there for less than a second before it fades away completely. It's not a reflection, and it's definitely not lens flare. It's a clear, defined shape of a person that appears out of thin air and then vanishes. The fact that the explorer was completely unaware of it at the time makes it even more chilling. He was standing just feet away from a potential ghost and had no idea. This is easily one of the most compelling pieces of paranormal evidence ever caught on camera. And here we are, the number one absolute craziest, most terrifying clip I've ever seen. This is the one I warned you about. A team of highly experienced urban explorers decided to tackle a declassified, abandoned underground military bunker. This place is deep underground, a concrete maze designed to withstand a nuclear blast. The air is stale, it's pitch black, and the silence is absolute. The explorers are using professional-grade lighting and audio equipment, which is what makes this clip so terrifyingly clear. They are miles from any other person, deep beneath the earth. They're making their way through a narrow, concrete tunnel when they decide to stop for a moment and just listen. They turn off their flashlights, plunging themselves into total darkness and silence to see if they can capture any EVPs or electronic voice phenomena. For about 30 seconds, there is nothing, absolute silence. You can't even hear the wind, and then, out of that silence, a sound rips through the darkness that will haunt your nightmares. It is the most blood-curdling, pain-filled scream you have ever heard. It's not distant, it sounds like it's right there in the tunnel with them. The scream is long and agonizing, and it echoes through the concrete corridors. The explorers instantly flip on their lights, screaming themselves, and spin around, but there is nothing there. The tunnel is empty. They are completely alone. The audio is so clear you can hear the raw terror and pain in the scream, and it doesn't sound human. They immediately pack up and run, practically climbing over each other to get out of the bunker. They never found the source of the scream. They were deep underground in a sealed environment. Nothing could have gotten in or out. Whatever made that sound was down there with them in the dark. I don't know about you guys, but I have goosebumps. That last clip from the bunker is something I will never, ever forget. From shadowy figures to full-body apparitions and that absolutely soul-crushing scream, these clips are some of the most insane things ever captured. These explorers went looking for an adventure and ended up recording pure terror. It really makes you wonder what else is lurking in these forgotten places, just waiting in the darkness for the next person to stumble in. What do you think is going on here? Are these elaborate hoaxes, or did we just watch proof of the paranormal? I want to know what you guys think. Go down to the comments right now and let me know which one of these encounters creeped you out the most. Was it the moving wheelchair in the asylum, the door slamming shut in the factory, or was it that final terrifying scream from the bunker? I'm genuinely curious to see which clip gets the most votes for being the most terrifying. Reading your comments is my favorite part of making these videos. So don't be shy, let me know your theories. If you want to see more insane and chilling content just like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We are constantly searching for the craziest clips on the internet to bring to you guys, and trust me, you don't want to miss what we have coming up next. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.